Okay, so I've got a pretty cool one for you today. I'm expecting half the people who've clicked on this video to know exactly what this boot is, and I hope the other half is willing enough to learn about and hopefully try something they've never tried before. And that boot is the Adler Yatagarasu. So as always, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, this is something that I hope that when people see it, they don't go, oh no, it's another traditional looking boot. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be clunky. Why would I ever want to wear this? This is something very special. And after we go around how crazy this boot is, exceptional value for money as well. So I've got a couple boots here to compare this to try and show you why this is so special. So I guess starting off, so the looks, yes, it is a full kangaroo leather upper the whole way around. This is super premium kangaroo leather, incredibly soft. I wore these to training the other day, and one of my teammates picked them up and was like, "That's softer than my leather couch at home. Like it's some of the nicest leather that ever felt." And again, I've got a few comparisons here. We'll compare it to something a lot more expensive. This is pretty special. This is a Mizuno ultralight, so we'll get to that. And then I also wanted to compare it to something more traditional, and what I think people sort of imagine when they think traditional leather boots, and this is an Italian-made Pantofoglio. So they do look similar. Obviously, this one's got the big fold-over tongue, but you can't be blamed in thinking that these are two very similar boots, when in reality, they're incredibly different, like so different. So I guess just to start with the fit. So the fit on these are amazing. And that's part of the reason they've got a traditional looking boot here that feels so modern when you put it on. And like I said, we'll go through the tech specs of what this is, but just a bit of a comparison just to begin with, just to show you that this isn't a boring leather traditional boot. So even just comparing, if we look at the opening heel and how that heel is sort of narrow there to sort of really hug your heel. I've worn this. Look how wide it is. Look at the difference. And then even just the heel, like it's super shallow, and there's no padding there. There's nothing. It's just this leather material continued into there, and not padded, not comfortable, but this is how they used to make boots. And you'll also see it's just a single piece of leather the entire way around with a few little stitches, but you can see how much this boot is sort of spilling over the sides. Like it's super wide, it's stretched so much. Like I don't really wear these anymore because they feel so sloppy on my feet. And they're not a light boot by any means. Like you've got all the build quality of a made in Italy product. So you've got stitching all the way around the front, 3 rivets in the front, 1 rivet in the back, a traditional Chronicle sole plate, but like these are heavy. There's some substance to these. And this is what I think a lot of people, maybe not a Pantofoglio, but this style of boot, Copa Mundial, is what a lot of people think when they see these traditional leather boots. And in comparison, you've got this incredibly nice padded heel. It's not shallow at all. It actually goes a fair way back to really cup that heel, and that's really nice. And then the overall fit is quite narrow, like not narrow that you have to have narrow feet to sort of wear it, but it doesn't overstretch. And part of that is also due to the stitching pattern that they've chosen, has sort of holds the boot shape a little bit better than just having a big single piece of leather. And then getting to also the way these feel and how lightweight they are. So I've got the other boot here, which I've unlaced a little bit. So this silver material you see running the entire length of the sole plate. So that's a material called Carvo. So that's a Japanese brand. It's sort of like carbon fiber, but it's a plastic-based material and has very similar properties to what carbon fiber is. And to see this material a boot that looks like this is just insane, because it's typically we only see them in like things like I've got the alphas up there, like you get them in the made in Japan version, they've got it, And you're starting to see it in a few more, high-end boots that have it there as sort of that snapback material. So this has got two things helping it out. So you've got the carvo there, which helps it be really snappy in the front. And then you've also, through the midfoot, have a shank in there as well. So you can see if I try and bend that middle, it doesn't bend at all. Super stable and super lightweight. Like, these are incredibly lightweight for the way these look and feel. And it's super impressive. So that's one thing that really helps the boot feel modern. And then you've also got another really cool thing with these in the laces. So I believe it's called Yatagarasu. It's this lace that they've gotten from this company, and essentially, I'll bring the boot a bit closer. It's a really finely threaded lace, so it's really tightly woven, and it has this almost like kind of sandpapery but kind of waxy coating to them as well, and they never come undone. Like, that's one thing. So just to bring this Mizuno out, Mizuno's laces suck compared to these Adlers. So you can see they're like they have like this fuzz to them. I'll bring it to the camera. You can see it's got this like layer of fuzz to these laces that are a cotton-based lace, and again, they do the job. But like, talking Australian dollars here, this is a $600 boot, and the laces are rubbish. If you buy these from Adler when they're in stock, because they're incredibly hard to get, due to the factory being, I think it's sub 40 people. It's amazing the work they do for the size of the factory. But these laces for a boot that full retail from Adler, it's $260. So less than half the price of a made in Japan Mizuno product. Is just insane how nice this is. So just to sort of go around it one more time, you've got an incredible leather upper. To compare quickly to the Mizuno, so I would say, because these are probably two of the boots that people like to compare, maybe not the ultralights, but the Morellias in general. They like to compare these two boots because they're both made in Japan products. They're both full kangaroo leather uppers. They have more of a traditional look, and they both have that chronicle sole plate as well. But I guess to try and give you some main differences on these, I find that the leather on the Adler is much thinner, and you can actually sort of feel the grain of the leather a lot more. It's a little bit more, a little bit more tactile, and sort of you can actually feel the grains. I wouldn't call it rough, but yeah, there's just more texture is probably the right word. Whereas with the Mizuno, it's this super smooth, really plush. You can sort of see how pillowy it looks compared to the Adler. Like, you still have those sort of, the stitching in the front that gives it that sort of pillowy effect, but this is like insane, like little pillows on the front. And the upper's very smooth. But I would say the liner is thicker, the leather is thicker, then you've got more plush sort of feeling on the ball, and a smoother leather material. So I don't really think one is better than the other. They're just two different ways of doing a really, really high quality leather boot. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's sort of personal preference, but either way, if you get one of these, they're amazing, and if you get these, they're amazing. So it really just depends on, the rest of the boot, what you prefer. And like I said, I'm currently comparing a boot that's half the cost to these. It's insane. Another thing I'll just grab the other boot for again, just to talk about build quality, because we know with the made in Japan boots, you've got rivets and it's glued and then re-glued and lasted for 24 hours, and it's amazing. So some of the build quality on these Adlers is, again, really impressive. If you look inside the boot there, you can see sort of all the way around it has the stitching. So the stitch actually goes through the carvo sole plate, into the leather, and then out the other side into the plastic sole plate as well. So all of it's held together the entire way around, all stitched. And you've sort of got that plastic edge as well, which really helps the durability. So these, the thread, the lace holding it all together isn't really exposed to the elements all that much. You do have, like I said, that more traditional looking chronicle sole plate, but yeah, when I had these on, like, they don't feel outdated at all. They feel super modern. They have that really cool effect of, you know, sort of disappearing your foot, giving you a really nice touch with that leather on foot. Like, it's just insane how nice these are. And they're not, like I said, with these Panther Foradoras, they're not sloppy. Like, you've still got good lockdown. Like, it's not going to be lockdown like, you know, a modern day speed boot, but this isn't a boot that I was like nervous to cut or step with and feel like my foot was going to roll through the boot. It still actually has some pretty decent lockdown, as well as all the other advantages I've just gone over. So yeah, super premium boot, a really, really nice shape. It's something that, again, because it's a normal traditional lacing system, it's going to accommodate to pretty much everyone's foot. And then another thing I just remembered with sizing, go down a full size. So I usually wear a 9 US. This is an 8 US, and that fits me perfect. So that's sort of the recommendation from the people that have known and worn Adlers for a very long time. And I must admit, like, even though I've been collecting, buying football boots for 20 years or something now, geez, more, getting old. I only discovered Adler about 2.5, 3 years ago. And that was thanks to two of the guys that sort of are leading the charge with Adler boots, which is Andrew Lockhart from Lockhart Boot Blog and Noah Kavanagh from their reviews. So Noah has done some really good reviews on this as well. If you want to watch his video, he really breaks down all the technical aspects in this. And then Andrew himself actually, you know, directly liaises with Adler. And yeah, he's got some really cool custom boots. And yeah, if you ever have a question that you want to know some really, you know, intricate information on Adlers, either of those two, they know everything about them. It's insane. Another thing too, just to show you, you actually do have the stitched Adler logo on the heel as well. And other than that, and again, the stitched Adler branding on the tongue, that's it. Super simple, nothing shouting in your face. So the normal colorways you can get regularly available when they're not sold out. So again, being a small factory, they sort of make batches of boots. They sell out and then they go make another batch. So they're not always available when you go on to Adler's site, but you can keep loading it up, and when they pop up, grab them. So the three colorways they normally come in are this triple red colorway. You can get one that is a black upper with a white sole plate, and you can get a triple white colorway as well. So they have done, and I'm waiting for them at the moment, they have done, there'll be a video, a custom program. So you can actually customize and pick your colors through the Adler website. There's a couple stipulations with it. You can only do it if you have owned a pair of that boot before, so a pair of Yatagarasus, and I can go buy another pair of Yatagarasus, because Adler doesn't want to make this super custom boot for then you to turn around and go, oh, it's slightly the wrong size, and now I've picked a pink boot with you know, black sole plate with red, like, if you've customized it and it's a size 10 or 11 or whatever, and now you're trying to return the boot, that's not something that they're going to do. So they have stipulated that if you've had a pair of the normal boot before, you can then qualify to do the custom program. So the price does jump up. That's where these start to look a bit cheaper. For me, with the custom details I've done, I also did another alternate set of laces as well. I think they just broke over $600. So $260 to $600 is a pretty big jump. But from what I've understood from listening to Andrew, the quality of the leather has also gone up. And yeah, I'm super excited for the colorway that I've got coming. I won't spoil anything just yet, but it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, they're a super cool brand. Something that I almost forgot to do completely, just part of the unboxing as well. So I've got the box here. So you've got the Adler branding. So I'll just quickly punch through this because it's getting to a 15-minute video already. They give you a really cool string bag. It's actually more of like a cloth material than like the plastic or mesh-based ones that you get from Adidas and Nike. You've got the embroidered Adler symbol there and this sort of deer print as well. But a really, really nice string bag. And then they also give you another set of insoles. So these are the realigned insoles, and you actually see they have quite the sort of shaping and the raise to the insole compared to the normal one, which is just here, which is sort of just a normal flat black insole. So you've actually got a lot more sort of support built in there. So depending on what you're feeling, also if you find the boot is leaving you a little bit of dead space at the top boot, this actually does a pretty good job of like sort of raising your foot into that dead space. But yeah, so you get the spare set of insoles, a really nice string bag as a part of, you know, the normal buying process, which is pretty cool to have some extras with it. But yeah, I hope that a few people have seen this video, sort of are intrigued enough to give these a go, because they are awesome. And for someone who doesn't want to spend, you know, the $300 to $400 on a top of the range Nike, Puma, Adidas boot, or to do the big splurge on a made in Japan Mizuno product, these are fantastic. They are so good. So yeah, that's my overall review of the Adler Yatagarasu. They are an insane boot. That's fantastic value for money, and the quality is just amazing. And yeah, factoring the price point of these and the quality, it's mind-blowing that they're this good. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Just another reminder, if you've enjoyed the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.